Vijay Drakoi. I will speak now.
Don't move, pal. I don't want to hurt you. I will if I have to. But you'll be okay if you don't move. You just hush. I want to see what you've got on you. Now, real slow like. I want you to put your hands up and keep them up. Okay, that's good. You can follow directions. I like you already. Now, turn around. Real slow. Just like with the hands. And try not to flinch when you see my face. Fair warning. Yeah, that's why I warned you first. There's something about a big yellow smiling face mask that just makes people spook when they see it. Now, before I come closer and pat you down, you should know that I'm not alone. At one end of this hallway, by the stairs you came up, there's a really big guy with a bunch of electrical gear that I don't understand all that well. But he does. And he'll strike you with the lightnings if you try to get past me and run that way. And at the other end of the hall, there's another set of stairs. And that stairwell is now the sole and sovereign property of a red-haired lady with a flamethrower who loves fire. So you definitely don't want to run that way. Hey, I told you I don't want to hurt you. I'm just warning you. Don't try anything. There's no way out of this hallway without my good word on you. Are we clear? Good. That's real good. Now, I'm gonna come closer, and I'm gonna give you a quick pat down. You just keep those hands up, and don't try anything funny. And especially don't try and go for my gun. That ain't gonna end well at all. Just keep 'em up and think happy thoughts. Ooh, shiny. I like your taste in firearms, pal. These are hard to come by. I saw your hands move. You want to keep those up like you've been doing. You just follow the rules and do as I say, and you'll come through this just fine. I'll even give you back this shiny peacemaker of yours, if we decide that you're all right, and not some crazy rotter with a collection of scalps in your pack. That's not gonna happen here, though. We're gonna go someplace else. Someplace a little more protected, more secluded than some random rundown house on the edge of town. That cool with you? I knew I liked you. Now turn around and take 5 slow steps down that hallway. Then stop. I just want to keep some distance between us while I pick up your backpack. Just so you'll have all your stuff with you if we decide you're cool. After we talk. Now, 5 slow steps. Now you just stay there for a moment. Okay. Torch, Muller, you catch all that? Yeah. We are coming down. Your side, Torch. The stranger's coming down first, then me. They're unarmed. You cover them until I clear the stairs. Muller, you wait until I'm clear, then meet us outside. All right, pal. Start walking. Nice slow pace. And keep those hands up. Especially once you hit the stairs. And really especially once you get to the bottom. Remember, Torch do love her some fire. You don't want to upset her. Okay, Torch. They're at the bottom of the stairs now.
I see them, Smiley.
Lead them out.
Okay, you. Come on. Nice and slow. Stay where I can see you. And keep moving. Nice and slow.
Okay, Muller. We've cleared the entrance. Everybody cool. Everybody happy. Come on around front. That's far enough. No, don't turn around. Just keep looking at Torch over there.
Hey, my eyes are up here. Quit staring at my flamethrower. Hey, Muller, we're ready. Looks like they're waking up, Muller. Now's your chance to apologize.
Sorry about the stunt route I shot you with back there. We really weren't sure about you and wanted to have a talk about it while we drove you here.
Plus, we didn't want to risk you kicking up a sudden fuss during the ride.
We had our talk, though, we three. And we had a look through your backpack, too. You know, see what you were carrying, what sort of stuff you might have thought you needed to carry with you, what kind of loot you might have had. Hey, easy. Try not to move too much.
Those stunner rounds can leave you with a hell of a weird hangover. Best you stay down for a bit longer. You'll know when you're good to move again. You'll feel it. And here, there's some water in this canteen. You're probably pretty thirsty. There wasn't much water left in the bottles in your bag.
So, like Torch was saying, we looked through your stuff. We put it all back, of course, along with that fancy shooting iron I took off you back at the house. It's unloaded now, but I put the ammo back in your bag, too.
We're scavengers, after all, not robbers.
A sensible question. Your wits would seem to be returning. We're in an old abandoned factory complex outside the city we found you in. It's a place we've scavenged before, but between us and the ones who came before, it's been pretty well picked over.
Now it's mostly gone back to nature. If the sun were still up, you could see the plants it's got growing all over it. It's kind of pretty, in a bleak, post-apocalyptic sort of way.
That's because no one's been out here messing with it. I like it, though. Makes for a good place to get out of sight for a while, bed down, get some decent food, and a good night's sleep.
Speaking of food, I'm gonna go get the meals ready. You guys want anything in particular? Or just dealer's choice?
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. So, where are you from? A long way from home, then. How'd you get all the way out here? If you don't mind me asking, that is.
Hey, no problem. We've all got stuff we'd rather not talk about. That's just how people are. Some people are pretty open about the weirdest stuff, though. I swear, when we go to some of the scavenger meetups to trade and sell, there's always one or two weirdos who will talk your freaking ear off about topics no one cares about and no one wants to listen to.
You're thinking of that old wire scavenger with a crazy one-eyed dog, aren't you? The guy who kept telling everyone about the scarecrow that followed him around for 3 days and watched him while he slept?
Yeah, that's the one. He gave me the creeps. You know, it occurs to me that we haven't been formally introduced. What's your name?
Nice to meet you. I'm Muller. This is Torch. And our fearless leader over there with the round yellow face mask is Smiley.
Hey, Smiley. They want to know about the mask. You want to tell them?
Still cooking. You tell him.
Well, Smiley tells a lot of people he wears that mask to keep the sun off his face. He says if he gets too much light on him, he'll age before his time, or something like that. It's actually to cover up his facial scars. He had a really bad fall during a scavenging job, some years back. Or so I've heard.
He fell off a catwalk and landed on a pile of scrap metal. Messed him up really bad. Face and neck all tore up, and I think he broke something too.
Left arm, 3 places. 2 ribs, and both collarbones. Plus my freaking nose.
It left him pretty scarred up. He wears that mask most of the time just to keep other people from having to look at the horror show. That synthetic voice of his came from the same accident. Cut up his larynx pretty bad. But the street doctor we took him to happened to know a guy, a ripper surgeon, who specialized in vocal prosthetics. That's where I got my synth too, actually. Well, as you might have guessed from my name, I kind of have a thing for fire. I'm not like some crazy pyromaniac or anything. Not even so much as a recreational arsonist. I just like fire. But it turns out I'm not so good at the whole fire breathing trick. I was practicing it once, and a bit of burning mineral oil went in the wrong way. Kinda crispied a few sensitive places and messed up the way I talk. But this fancy choker medallion I wear gets me sounding more or less normal, aside from the distortion effect, which I kinda like.
No, I don't have any chrome yet. I'm trying to avoid it as long as I can. So far, all my burns and bullet holes have been non-essential parts of my body. Everything's just sort of fixed itself, more or less.
Dinner's up. MREs a la Smiley. Dealer's choice. I'm not actually sure what each of these are. I just kinda grabbed at random out of the crate. Here you go, Muller. Torch, here's yours. Careful, they're still hot. And one for you. Well, because it's dinner time, this is when we eat. You're here with us, so you eat with us. We're not savages, you know. I mean, we did rough you up the tiniest bit back there at the house. But you could have been anybody for all we knew, and we had to be cautious. But that's water under the bridge now. Eat up before it cools off too much. These things taste god-awful when they're cold.
Like I was saying earlier, we took a look through all your stuff on the drive out here, while you were still out cold. You can tell a lot about a person by the things they carry with them when they're on the move. And we didn't find anything on you that gave off any...
Unhealthy vibes?
Exactly.
You had your gun, clothing, bedroll, survival gear. All sensible stuff. Scrounged up supplies, a few trinkets, and some books. Dangerous people don't tend to carry books with them. They carry more knives, more ammo, a jar of ears in formaldehyde, things like that. If I had to judge you solely by what you had on you, I'd have to put you down for the wandering outdoorsy type. Just moving from place to place, living off the land as it were, and just experiencing life as it comes to you. That sound about right. I thought as much. Any particular reason why you do it? Are you trying to put some distance between you and your past? Looking for new adventures? Or are you just the type that doesn't put down roots easy?
We tried riding that particular horse while you were cooking, Smiley. It wouldn't run them either. I guess they don't want to talk about it right now.
Let them eat their food, Smiley. We've had a long, weird day, and they're probably just as hungry as we are. And tired, too. Let them eat.
Agreed. Food now. We can chat more in the morning.
All right. We'll finish our food and then call it a night. Mother, you've got first watch. Then you, Torch. I'll take the pre-dawn watch. In the morning, once we're all packed up and rolling again, we can talk over the possibility of our new friend here maybe joining up with us for a little recreational scavenging. It's a bit sudden, I know. I want you to sleep on it before you commit to anything either way. Take your time and think it over. But while you're thinking, keep in mind that this isn't exactly the safest region to be walking through. There's other folk that live out here. Other scroungers mostly, but not all of them. And we've heard of more than one person going missing out this way. We've even found a couple of bodies. And it's a lot safer to be rolling around with a crew of good people who know the area, rather than striking out alone. The crazies won't usually mess with a group. And if something happens out here, away from the city, away from any help, it's better to have a few friends handy. You just think that over. See you in the morning.
Sleep. I'm gonna set a quiet alarm and then take a nap. If I'm not up in 4 hours, come get me. Otherwise, I'll just relieve you when I get up and sit the rest of your shift with my own.
Another one of those nights?
Yeah, probably. Never could quite get used to sleeping a whole night through.
See you in 4 or less then.
You'd best put your bedroll down here by the fire. The night's gonna be cold, I think. I'm gonna go stretch out on top of the scrounge mobile. I usually sleep up there on clear nights. No more talk. Save it for the morning. Get some rest. You look like you need it. Hey, you still awake? Let me guess. You've been thinking about Smiley's offer to join up with us. Is that what's keeping you up? I know we treated you a bit harsh back there, when we first found you. And I understand if maybe you want to just cut and run. I don't blame you. I'm going on watch in a few. Muller's going to conk out as soon as I relieve him, and Smiley will sleep like a dead man until I wake him up for his shift. The main road that runs out from this complex will take you back toward the city we picked you up from. It'll take you a day, probably two, to get there on foot. You know, just in case you were wondering. If I happen to see you sneaking off into the night, I won't say anything. But you're not likely to find us again when we move on. So, go if you want, or stay if you want. We won't judge you. But I hope to see you still here in the morning.